So you want to go paperless in your classroom? Don't know where to start? I'm going to give you my top 5 favorite web tools that I use currently in my classroom while going paperless. Stay tuned. Hi, welcome back to the Curly Corner. I'm Aisha, and today we're going to talk about the top 5 favorite web tools that I currently use in my classroom. I'm going to go over them basically from the least used to the most used. Now, I transitioned into a paperless classroom. I say I'm about 98% paperless, and I transitioned to no paper about 3 years. My current school uses a learning management system, which basically is like a virtual classroom. So that greatly encouraged me to go paperless as well. And we're also a Google for Education school. So that also pushes a lot of the paperlessness in my current classroom. So I'm just going to talk about some apps that have helped to make that transition easier, and also to go ahead and let you know right up front, they're free. They are free. That is right, they are free. Now, some of these apps do come with a premium subscription, but I use the basic free version of them and they work out just fine. I haven't had any issues, and I don't see any reason to go to the premium unless absolutely necessary. So again, I'm going to start with the least used all the way to the more frequently. Number 5, that is Padlet. Padlet is a online digital bulletin board for you and your students. It also allows for you to create a customizable web link address where each class, or if you have a group of students, can access that specific bulletin board or cork board or post-it note collection right there just for them. It allows them to add videos, images, links, and other things you can think of. I like to use it as a discussion board. The kids can move it around and answer questions from other kids. I also like to use it as a, just a catch-all question kind of thing, maybe like a parking lot, so that kids can be able to just put their questions there. We can go back and review it, or other kids can answer those questions if they see it before me. I think it's just a great tool to use without having to collect a whole bunch of paper. And I like to sometimes have the kids use it as maybe like a Twitter chat in my classroom, where they can only post an answer to or a response to a question using only 140 characters. They have to explain themselves. So it works out really well because it is a digital place for all of that material to go. If you were using Post-it notes, I used Post-it notes back in my beginning years of teaching, and it tends to accumulate very quickly. So Padlet is a very great resource for that. Number 4 is going to be Goformative. It is an online assessment tool. Now, the reason why I like Goformative is because mainly it allows my kids to have a place to actually write a response to a question. So you can add in multiple choice, true, false, open-ended, short answer, all those different types of formats of questions. But mainly I use it for my kids so that they can draw. You can insert a picture for a background for Goformative. You can also add in other like movable digital ways for them to answer the question, I guess like matching and things like that, and more interactive pieces. You can definitely do that. Now, some of the higher up for like more data or tracking them, if you want to have it track them for a specific standard, that becomes a premium feature. I don't pay for that right now. I just don't see any need to do that because I also have a learning management system that my school and basically my district uses. So there's no need for me to pay for that premium service when I have it with my learning management system. So I use the free version and it works just fine. I create a class, My kids go in, what we did the first weeks of school, they go in, they look at the code, they go into my classroom, and then my roster just stays there. So they're in my class for the rest of the year. They don't have to keep adding themselves in the class. And because we are a Google for Education school, they use their login information and it stays that way the whole year. So they don't have to come up with a username or password. It is just their email addresses and passwords. So that's just a really great feature. Third web tool is going to be Quizlet. So Quizlet is an online study tool which uses flashcards. So it's basically just a digital area for the kids to store their flashcards. Now, teachers can create flashcard sets as well, and that's actually what I use in my classroom. So I create the sets for the students, and then I have them add themselves to my class. So I create just one class just for all the 8th grade students that I teach, and then I provide them access with all of the sets that I create. So this way I know that they have the correct definition to the terms, and I don't have to worry about what they're studying. So I allow them to go on and study using the Learn. I allow them to quiz themselves, test themselves. We don't use the spelling very often just because I don't need them to know how to spell it perfectly. But I do need them to understand the definition of the terms. I don't teach vocabulary specifically per each unit because the kids have already seen many of these topics before. However, I do use the Quizlet to enhance the vocabulary and make sure that it's a good review for them so they understand where it's coming from. One great thing about Quizlet is it has a game called Quizlet Live, which my kids like to call Quizlet. They say it's lit, it's a party for vocabulary. Anyway, so we play Quizlet Live, and it puts the kids in groups and they have to work together to match the terms and definitions. And each group is trying to earn 12 points. So they keep going and working as a group. If they miss any of the terms and definitions, it takes them all the way back to 0. So I just love it. I will probably insert some footage later on in the year when you can actually see my kids playing Quizlet Live. It's just a really great tool to help them understand the vocabulary for a particular topic or unit. Okay. So number 2 is PlayPap. It's an interactive video assessment tool. I really like PlayPap because it allows you to show students videos individually and also place questions strategically after different parts within the video. This is just really great because normally you have the kids watch the video whole class. They can't rewind it or pause it because everyone else is watching it, and then they have to answer all their questions at the end. Usually, this way each kid gets to watch the video by themselves or with their headphones in their own space in my classroom. And since I have flexible seating, they can choose whatever space they would like. They watch the video, they can rewind if they miss something, and they can answer the questions within the video. So after it has a topic has been explained or a concept has been explained, it will ask them a question and then they will have to answer it. If they don't know the answer, they can rewind the video to find the answer. They cannot fast forward. Now there is an option that allows you to, if you want the students to fast forward it, but why would you want the students to fast forward it? Because you want them to get the information. I don't want them to fast forward. One of the great features that I like is it allows my students to be able, if they miss the question, that it takes them back to where I want them to go to make sure they get that concept. And I just love that. You miss it, you got to go back before you can go forward, because the whole point of an assessment is so that I can make sure that you know it, especially formative. I want to form your knowledge. So I really love that piece. There are some more advanced features with it if you want to get the premium version, but the basic version works just fine. You can take any video from anywhere, Khan Academy, YouTube, TeacherTube, what else do you have? Learn Zillion, anywhere you want to take it and place it inside. So it's just a really great web tool to use. My number one and all-time favorite has to be Google Apps. I love pretty much anything Google. If you get to know me and stay with the channel, you'll see that I just interact Google into everything that I do in my classroom. Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, Google Forms, Google Drawings, Google Calendar, Google Mail, anything Google. Now, I am, like I said earlier, I am a Google for Education school, or my district purchased the whole package for Google for Education, which is really nice because all of my kids have an email address and password, and I'm able to share things with them. I am able to see anything that they're doing on their documents, all of that great stuff. But if you are not, to have no fear, you can create an email address for your classroom through Google, and with that you get all of the web tools that come with it. So for this year, I currently provided my students and my parents with my syllabus digitally. I created it on Google Docs, and then I had a link using is it bit.ly, or yes, is it bit.ly or bit.ly? Yes, we'll go with that, bit.ly. And I created a bit.ly link, and I customized it and gave that out as an address for my students and parents to see my syllabus. I did not give out my syllabus on paper because I just felt that's a waste. They're going to either throw it away. And I did have them sign a sheet that said that they were going to, read over it or look over it if they had any questions. And a lot of parents, contacted me back and say, hey, we really like this. And I get to look at it on my phone, my iPad. And so that's a great way to save some paper. Also for assessments, I use Google Forms. You can use Google Forms to assess the kids. You can turn the form into a quiz, or you can use it as a test. And with Google Apps, you can download many add-ons that allow you to gather the data and make charts. For example, Fubaru, it will grade all the quizzes or the Google Forms for you, and then it will tell you how many kids missed this question, how many kids got this question right, the mean for and the average for your test scores or quizzes. It's a really great add-on for Google Forms. So that is something to think about. Also, when you create, if you're going to create your own Google email address, when you use any of the applications, it does not use up any of your Google Drive space. So that is a really great feature as well, because you can make as many docs, spreadsheets, or sheets, any slides as you want, and it won't use up any of your Google Drive space. One quick tip as well is for Google Calendar. I use that for all of my notifications, all of my appointments for school, especially because it will send me a notification email. It will pop up on my phone when I link it. Also, I send it out to my kids. Hey, you have a scheduled appointment meeting with me, da 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 da, and it will pop up for them as well. So great feature, Google Apps. If you have any questions about it, please comment down below and I'll try to get to your questions as well. So bonus app time. These are my two favorite apps to use, but I don't use them as frequently as the other 5. So EdPuzzle is very similar to PlayPap. I really like EdPuzzle because it provides a lot more already made videos that I can borrow from other teachers, or really just take them and just fix them to my needs if I need to. So you can just still go in, you see the questions, you can edit the questions. So you can actually go into EdPuzzle and edit the questions if you need to. You can move them around. You can do all that you need to do within EdPuzzle. So it's a great feature as well. I would recommend it. It's also free. So all the videos in there that have already been created, you just add them to your set and then add them to your class, create your class, and it's all there and it's all good. Second bonus web tool has to be Kahoot. Kahoot is a very wonderful interactive gaming learning environment for the kids. They love it. What it does is it allows you to put a question on the board, and then it gives them the answers, but the answers are in different colors and different shapes. So it has the kids have to pay attention so they can make sure they're picking the correct answer. I really love it because it's just a fun way to have the kids interact and learn. You can either use other people's or other teachers created Kahoots, or you can create your own Kahoot. They also have introduced a new way to quiz kids, which is called Jumble, where they actually, instead of just answering a multiple choice question, they have to move it around in order. And you can only have it in, I think is it 4? It's like 4 or 5, but they have to move the different shapes in order to get the question correct. So that's just a really nice way as well to implement some higher order thinking questions inside of this quiz like game. So there you have it. Top 5 plus 2 bonus, 5 plus 2 bonus web tools that I use in my classroom now that I am paperless. And I will say that I am approximately 98% paperless. There are 2% of the time in my classroom where I may have to use some paper. For example, in the beginning of the year, we had to wait for the kids to get their iPads because the kids coming from 7th grade, they don't keep their iPads. They turn them in at the end of the 7th grade year and they reissue them at the beginning of the 8th grade year, so they don't take them home over the summer. And also there's some things within my class throughout the year where I may have to print out a copy. Usually I just print a class set. For example, I have some reading passages that I want the kids to use for when we are introducing literacy or using literacy in my science classroom. So we printed them, me and my partner teacher printed them out, laminated them, and then we're gonna have the kids write on them with little markers and stuff like that. So, but anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more videos or have more questions about inside of my classroom, please comment below. Let me know, and I look forward to talking to you later. Bye.